Good morning, Bucknuts. It's Tuesday, April 26, 2016. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5, joined as always on Tuesdays by Duane Long. It's a beautiful day in the Gem City. I can only assume the capital city of Columbus is looking just as good this fine morning.
It's absolutely beautiful here. We're off to a good start. They say there might be rain, but right now it's nice here.
We'll take nice here in the great Midwest. Someplace that is also nice, the Sporting News has come out with its top 25 for the year. Obviously, these aren't the be-all, end-all, but they're an interesting way to kind of talk about the season ahead. Their rankings: number 1, Alabama; number 2, Clemson; number 3, Oklahoma; 4, Ohio State; 5, Baylor; 6, Florida State; 7, Ole Miss; 8, Michigan; Oklahoma 3, Ohio State 4. It would seem that benchmark of the season will come early in Norman.
Well, we've talked about this on the board. We've talked about it on the DM5 that it's that game is so key for the Buckeyes. If Ohio State would win that game, it's going to change everything. I think we can. I'm a little bit more confident that we will now that we've seen this team in the spring. Wow, what a great game. I mean, I remember when Oklahoma Ohio State played back-to-back. I'm old enough to remember those games, and they were great games. And now I'd love to see the series renewed. Why not? I mean, I love playing tough games in the preseason. You want a cupcake or two early, but get into it, get your ranking up there higher. It means everything. But I want to mention this. We had fans just absolutely say, "Oh, Oklahoma's not all that. Oklahoma's not all that." That's scarlet and gray colored glasses. That's wishful thinking. Oklahoma is a very good football team, and we're going to be playing them there. It's going to be tough to get out of there with a win.
I mean, just think about how big of a home game that is for Oklahoma. Ohio State doesn't go on the road to destinations, other iconic destinations, really that often. And Bob Stoops being the Ohioan, and I mean, that's going to be, you're going to have, I expect, College Game Day will be there. I'm saying that off the top of my head. I don't know any other games that weekend. I find it hard to believe there's a more marquee game than that. So that's something to look forward to. But I will say this, the timing of the game is also better for Ohio State, the way it works out. I still think they can lose the game and have a chance to get to the playoffs now. I don't think they can get rolled. But if they go in there and play tough and lose lose 31-28 and then win the rest of their games, I still think they're bound for the playoffs, partially because some of the other teams in the Big Ten have gotten stronger. But it will be an interesting game and definitely something we're going to keep a firm eye on. Another thing we're keeping a very firm eye on out there near Oklahoma is Texas, and that is because of Texas recruiting. We've talked about this ad nauseum since Herb has been at the helm. Ohio State really knows no borders, be them national or international for that matter, for recruiting. So obviously the 3 states that any program needs to have a foothold in if they're going to be a national power: California, Texas, and Florida. Texas has been special for Ohio State. Tom Herman, of course, did great work there before taking over at Houston. A lot of people think that's the reason he'll be the next coach at Texas. Got one J.T. Barrett out of there, among others. Now there's 2 names on the recruiting radar that have popped up that you know a lot about. 1, the safety, Jeffrey Okudah; 2, linebacker Baron Browning. Talk about what you've seen of those guys on tape. Both are supposed to visit. Okudah more likely to be a Buckeye, but kind of your take on both Jeffrey Okudah, the safety, and Baron Browning, linebacker.
Well, when you're looking at Jeffrey Okudah, you're looking at a prototype. He's everything you want in a safety. He plays the ball great, plays the ball like a cornerback. You're not going to have any problem at all staying in your base when you got a safety like that. He'll just slide down into the box when you come out 4 wide. He's just that good on the ball. Could be a wide receiver. He's that good. But he's also a really tough guy if you do want to bring him down to play the run. He does it all. Super athlete. You just can't go wrong with a guy having any shot at him, and it seems like we've got a pretty good one. Okudah would be a huge get, and he would be an immediate impact guy. Yeah.
Better high school prospect, Jeffrey Okudah or Von Bell?
Jeffrey Okudah.
Wow.
There's no doubt about it. He's bigger. He's just as athletic and as fast, if not more so. And he's better tackler, better in the box than Bell. Yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt in my mind.
How about Texas?
Browning?
Texas, yep.
I just saw him for the first time yesterday. I hadn't been paying much attention to linebacker recruiting in the next class, and my goodness, what a beast. He looks like a lot like Justin Hilliard as a high school player. He really is that impressive. Not as big, maybe a little bit taller, really more of a prototype size that you want in a high school player at this age. And he runs, he hits, they play him about 7 yards off the line of scrimmage sometimes, just turn him loose, let him go. He's got real good timing on the blitz. There's not a lot wrong with the guy. I would probably say Hilliard's a little better because Hilliard played better pass defense, but this is a guy you want in scarlet and gray. He is a guy that can come in, play in the middle. He can play either outside spot because he's got that kind of athleticism, but he's a big thumper, great looking football player. Wow, was I impressed with this film.
So Okudah is crystal balling himself towards Ohio State. Browning, want to talk about a Texas prospect with a nice offer list. As you know, on the 24/7 Sports, his crystal ball or the schools listed as warm: Alabama, LSU, Michigan, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. So Browning is going to be in a marquee program, that's for sure, out of Texas. Speaking of Texas futures, we want to talk a little bit about the NFL draft. Before we do that, I want to remind everybody, or at least announce, that we are going to have to do something a little bit different for the draft this year. We've never really done this specifically. Every single staff member, that means Duane, that means myself, your Dave Biddle, Steve Hellwagon, Bill Kurlick, Alex Gleitman, everyone down the road, we're all going to be hanging out during the draft on one thread in the message board on the front row. It will be premium. We're going to have to be a premium member to get this. So that's why I'm telling you now, go get your premium membership. But from the beginning of the draft to the end, we won't be on Twitter. We won't be on Facebook. We won't be on Carrier Pigeon. We won't be on Snapchat. We won't be on any technology developed between now and the draft. Every single staff member will be in the front row on one thread for a draft hang. It's the first time we've ever had everybody in one place for this long of a time. It's going to be a special night for Ohio State. That's a guarantee. Whether they have 4 or 5 or even 6 guys go in the first round, we shall see. But just mark that down your calendar. Draft hang, the front row, our staff, and you there. It should be a real fun time. So we'll send out stuff so you're on top of that. And speaking of the Texas hook, Duane, I think the pick everyone's considering or everyone's talking about is number 4 with the Cowboys. Being a Cowboys nerd, here's the scenario that those in Dallas think is going to take place. The Rams will pick first and take Jared Goff. The Eagles, who have traded up, will pick second and take Carson Wentz. Then comes the first pick of the draft, where people really don't know what's going to happen, the San Diego Chargers. All signs point to them deciding between several prospects, including Laramie Tunsil and Jalen Ramsey. How this affects your Ohio State Buckeyes. According to the insiders with the Cowboys, if the San Diego Chargers do not pick Jalen Ramsey, the Cowboys will pick him at number 4. However, if the Chargers pick Jalen Ramsey, the Cowboys will take Ezekiel Elliott. Your thoughts?
It makes perfect sense to me. That's just the logical thing, is that the Chargers are going to take Ramsey. Then the Cowboys, you as a Cowboy fan pointed this out to me. Dallas doesn't have an NFL starting defensive end on the roster right now, and they're probably not. Gregory, Randy Ganja Man Gregory he's done. He's going to continue to do what he's doing. The guy's he's a head case, and obviously Greg Hardy is out of there. So you've got to have an elite end. There are two things. You got to have a quarterback, and you got to have somebody who's going to make the quarterback unhappy. And Dallas, it's just such a logical choice to take Joey Bosa at this point. I think that
they're not going to do it though.
Sense.
I agree with you, and it does make perfect sense. But I can tell you this from being, listening to all the nerdy jazz stuff. I cannot explain this, and I don't know where this narrative came from, but there is a belief among, the Cowboys nation that Joey Bosa is not an elite player, that he's not a 10-sack guy in the league. I don't know where this came from. Maybe the fact that he only had 5 sacks last year, but he has been completely devalued there to the point where I know Jerry Jones, who I don't know this actually, and listen to the fans that succinctly, but he's not going to get picked at number 4. He's going to drop to 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 to the Buccaneers. That's going to be an interesting thing to watch, but Bosa is dropping.
I just don't think it's going to happen. You have to, we talk all the time that there's 2 draft things. You have, you go to position of need or best athlete available. I don't know how you don't decide toward what you need. Now, if you can't reach, but if there's a guy there that is somebody who's an elite at that position, you take him. And how he's fallen, I don't know. I just don't know what the deal is with Bosa that there's some people that are saying no, he's falling down boards. I've seen him projected number 6 to Baltimore. I just don't agree with that. I think that common sense prevails when you finally get there and you're ready to hand the card in, and Joey Bosa will go to the Cowboys if he's on the board and Ramsey's not.
Very interesting stuff. We appreciate Duane stopping by. We're going to have tremendous coverage of the draft coming up. Like I said, make sure you make your plans to hang out with us. Draft hang on the front row. We'll see you there on Thursday. We'll have another show in before then, coming from me at least on Thursday. I'm hoping to get Dane Brugler from CBS on that show. Draft Scout. He's very busy, but we'll see what we can do. Dave will be back tomorrow morning, people. Have a good one.